So here we are back for another course vlog. This is the first at York Golf Range, just outside York City Centre. And unfortunately that first shot is a slight push out to the right. For those of you who are interested, this is just a very small 9-hole course just outside York. Very family friendly. It's perfect to come and play at a weekend and for beginners. And with this third shot, 20-foot putter, you can see the greens are a little bit bare. It's been very dry recently. But for £9 a round, it's not a bad little course at all. And we finish with a little 1-foot tap-in. So second hole here is 244 yards. It's a par 4. It is a dog leg to the left. And as you can see here, beginner's mistake, I am pointed to the right. So you know where this is going. And yeah, true to form, just bounces right near the outer bounds on the right-hand side, which actually leaves you, number one, a tricky stance to have your second shot, but also a very bad line in for your shot to the green. So I'm just going to lay up with an 8-iron. It's 190 yards round that corner to the left. It would mean a good carry over those trees. So I'm just going to lay up. And that goes pretty well, exactly where I wanted it to be, so we're all good. So the third shot leaves me 178 yards in. Just going to take a 52 degree. It is quite wet is the course. We'd had a torrential downpour just before I went out. It is very hot and muggy, but yeah, a little bit damp. And as you can see, I chunked that one about 30 yards. So this is the fourth shot. Like I said, that first tee shot, pushing it out towards the outer bounds, has not done me any favours. I'm usually on the green in 3, so we need to get this pretty close. And that's a much better chip. Lands near the pin, but unfortunately runs through to the back. So we've got a tricky little 20-foot putt here. It is quite downhill, and like I say, it's very bare and bobbly at the moment. Well, that's not too bad at all. I'd rather leave it slightly past the hole than short of the hole. And we have a nice little tap in. But unfortunately, that's a 6. So the third hole at York Golf Range is stroke index 1. It's 416 yards. It requires 2 long straight shots. And unfortunately, again, you can see by my stance, I was aiming to the right. And true to form, the ball goes exactly where I was aiming. Which leaves me a little tricky shot here. I sometimes could go over that tree, but on this occasion, looks like we're going to have to just punch it out. Probably use a 7-iron, just punch it out about 40 yards. Yeah, that chip goes well, leaves us in a good position for our third shot into the green. And that's a nicely struck 3-wood, slightly pulled left, but only by about 3 or 4 yards. And you can see it lands just short of the fringe, and it leaves us a putt for our 4th shot. So we've got a tricky little 20-foot putt. It goes uphill and then runs away from you. And again, like I say, this is a public, family-friendly course, so the greens are not immaculate condition. And you can see there they're very bobbly with a bit of moss on them. And it slows the ball down and leaves us a little 4-foot tap in for our 5th shot. And we record another bogey. So the fourth hole is stroke index 5. It plays longer than the yardage. It plays around 230 yards. And again, you have trouble on the right and the trees on the left. So you need a pretty straight shot. And that one is not a straight shot, but it does actually curve its way, phase its way around and finds pretty much the middle of the fairway, but it's not a very long shot. So that's a much nicer technique. I've been working on my chipping from 50, 60 yards in, and that's a little bit better. Just held up there with the damp conditions. Gives us 18 yards. Again, let's try the 58 degree. And that runs up nicely to the pin, leaving us an 8-foot putt for our fourth shot on this par 3. And we roll that in nicely. So that's a good recovery there, but again, recording a bogey. So this is the fifth hole, stroke index 17. It's a short par 3, 110 yards. Trouble on the left near the flag, and then out of bounds all down the right-hand side. So again, these are a pretty straight shot. That's a pretty good swing for me, and it's actually going towards the hole and leaves me pin high left for about 10-footer. So my putting is one of the strongest parts of my game, and let's see if we can roll this in. This would be a nice birdie if we can make this. Yes, and we do. So that's a nice little comeback there. That helps us with the scorecard. So this is hole number 6, stroke index 15. It's 292 yards, par 4. It's a dogleg to the right. You need to be aiming just over. You see there's a little marker post next to the tree. Just need to be aiming there with a little fade is perfect. And that's a pretty good shot for me. You can see just as we walk round, you can see the water here. Now, you don't have to carry the water on this hole. On the next one, we will have to be going over that water, and it is quite tricky. So as we come up here, you can see that drive was pretty much in the fairway. Just missed the semi-rough by about 10 yards. Leaves us 94 yards in. I'm going to use my 52 degree. It's a full shot for me, is this? And we've executed that pretty well. Lands on the green. You see a thumbs up. I'm quite happy with that shot. And as we walk up, you can see there, yeah, it landed on the green. It is a little bit short, but it's still a good shot for me. To get there in 2 is pretty good. So third shot, 17 foot, pretty flat. But again, you can see the green's a little bit bobbly, so it's unpredictable whether this will hold its line. But it's all about getting the pace right for me, really. Yeah, and to be fair, that's not a bad roll, that, leaving it a couple of foot past the hole. It was on line, but it, like I say, did bobble a little bit. So the fourth shot is 2 foot, tap in. And we make our par. So hole 7, stroke index 3, 318 yards, par 4. This is the hole we've just seen where you have to carry the water. So you need to be right of that big oak tree, and the more severely right you go, the longer the carry is. So for me, where I'm aiming, I need about 210 yard drive. And we've hit that pretty well. Should be in the middle of the fairway. We'll walk up and take a look. So for any of you who's coming to play here, a lot of beginners or high handicappers do actually hit it where the oak tree is and just lay up with an iron and take all that water out of play, because it is deceivingly long to carry that. Between 200 and 220 yards carry, depending on where you're aiming. And let's see, yeah, we can see our ball there nicely in the middle of the fairway. It's actually done pretty good. It's got about 230 yards, so I'm pretty happy with that. So the second shot, just going to take an 8 iron. It's only 130 yards, but it actually plays longer than it looks. And we struck that pretty well, but it's pulled it right, but it's rolling up. And it's just short of pin high right, leaving us 25-yard chip into the flag. So our fourth shot, again, leaving a lot of 10-footers today. Let's see if we can roll this one in. But unfortunately, that's a pull straight left. That was definitely my technique, not the green. Leaving us on the fifth shot with a 2-foot tapping. So on to the 8th hole here, 178 yards, par 3, stroke index 7. Now there is a ditch. It's actually dry at the moment, but it's hard carry to get it over that. So I tend to lay up with an 8-iron. And I've actually hit that probably as good as I can. You can see bouncing right down the middle. Went about 135 yards, and it leaves me a perfect little chip over this stream. I'll show you the stream in a moment. Just checking the actual yardage, because I've been working on my chipping, and I'm trying to dial in my yardage. So you can see here we've got 40 yards to the flag. I'm going to take my 58 degree over this water. That bounces nicely over on target, but a little bit short. So you can see this is the little stream or beck, and you can see this is what catches most people out. It's a good 10 yards wide is that, and it does tend to eat up a lot of golf balls. So for me, it's always safer just to lay up, give myself a simple chip, and then like I have here, a third shot for par. Another good roll, but just left that a little bit short. Again, unpredictable on the greens, but it should give us an easy 2-foot tap in. So hole 9 is struck index 11. It's 182 yard par 3. It's quite a tricky one this. You're over the stream and then out of bounds on the left. And it actually plays a bit longer than it looks. And unfortunately that's a top, but it does go straight. You see by the smile on my face, that's not my usual shot on this hole. I usually can par this or even have a chance of birdie, but not today. So second shot, 40 yards, 58 degree wedge again. Let's see if we can get this one close. And that is thin through the back. In fact, it wasn't a thin. I actually caught it really well, but I just misjudged the distance and hit it a little bit too hard. So we took a penalty drop and we're hitting our fourth shot. We really do need to get this close now. And that's a much better chip, but it's definitely going to leave us a longer putt than I'd want for my fifth shot. And the fifth putt wasn't too bad. Good pace, good line, just pulled it slightly. And that's a tap in for a triple bogey. So that ends the round. We shot a score of 39, which wasn't too bad considering we had that 6 on the last hole. If it wasn't for that, we'd have recorded a reasonable scorecard for my handicap. So I hope you've enjoyed that round. It's just a round from a high handicapper. I'm currently playing off 22, trying to improve. And I'm traveling around different courses to highlight, number one, the courses, so you can have a look at the courses if you intend to play there. Also, try and document my journey to reduce my handicap and see if we can get down to single figures. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.